Hey playa, have you been texting or messaging your crush trying to think of a way to turn it into an in-person interaction? Making that transition can be kind of awkward sometimes, especially if you don't know what to say or how to do it. Don't worry though, in this video I'm going to share my tips on how to turn your texting conversations into face-to-face ones and what to do if your crush simply won't respond to any of your texts. When it comes to texting, it may feel like there's an art form to doing it successfully, but the truth is, the key to a good conversation is being able to pay attention to what the other person is saying and what they're not saying. Before you go ahead and message them asking them to hang out, you're going to want to build rapport with them first. Rapport is simply having the type of relationship where you guys understand each other's feelings and can communicate well. The reason I say this is because if you're planning on just texting your crush for the very first time and asking them out, I don't think it's going to go well, and here's why. Imagine someone you don't really know that well messages you out of the blue and says, hey, no explanation, no introduction, just a simple hey. You might choose to ignore it, or you might just respond back with the simple hey, but ultimately the reason for having this conversation falls on the person that initially started it. But let's say they just jump right into asking you to hang out. Now, you might be a little confused because they haven't really said anything in that conversation to make you feel comfortable enough to want to hang out with them. This is what it's like most of the time when people message their crush. They go in with the expectation that their crush is ready and willing to hang out with them, even though they haven't even given them a reason to. One thing I'm always saying is that it's important to have some kind of face-to-face interaction before you start texting your crush, because if you're starting at the level where you don't talk to them regularly and you're texting them to start, you're going in with a disadvantage. What texting lacks is the ability to showcase your body language, your confidence, and your physical interest in them. What makes your hey message, which behind the scenes is you saying it because you like them, any different from one of their friends saying hey, which behind their scenes is just a friend saying hey? Your crush may not even be able to tell that you're messaging them because you like them, and they may just see it as a regular message and not think anything into it. But people see texting as a safer way to communicate. However, I see it as a way to speak to them without speaking to them. You can message them, and if they don't respond, you aren't left with the face-to-face embarrassment of them ignoring you in person. But that's why face-to-face conversations are way more important. It's a lot easier for someone to just ignore your text than it is to ignore a person talking directly to them. Yes, there may be situations where they give you the brush off or they just flat out ignore you, but seeing how they interact with you in person gives you a much better depiction of how they feel than reading their text message and trying to decipher it. This isn't to say that texting is bad. I've spoken to a lot of people that started off messaging their crush to establish some kind of a relationship, but the way that they did it was much better than just saying hey. Instead, they started off with either a story or a question. When you start off asking a question, you're creating the framework for them to share their opinion about something or a little bit about themselves. And for every question that they answer, you can ask more and more detailed questions so you can unravel a little bit more about who they are, and it gives you the opportunity to share something about yourself. Let's say you send your crush a message saying, hey, I'm looking for a new show to start watching on Netflix. Are you watching anything cool? From here, they may share that they're marathoning a certain show, to which you can follow up with, that's pretty cool. I haven't really seen that show yet. What's it about? Each question you ask can build on top of what you just said. So from there, you can ask them about other shows they've seen, ask them what their favorite show is, you can ask them about movies, you can take the conversation wherever you want it to go. Having these type of in-depth conversations will help you build the rapport that you need so that when you do see them in person, you now have substance to talk about. You can always follow up with something you guys talked about through text, or you can just flat out say, you know, you're a pretty interesting person. I want to talk to you more often. The goal here is to not let the conversation fall flat by over-texting, because when you do that, you actually ruin your chances of turning it from texting into a face-to-face conversation. There is no definitive amount for how much or how long you should text them, but if we look at this very generic bell curve here, we can see that there is a peak. And after that peak, if you continue texting them without leading it into an in-person conversation, they're just going to get bored of texting. Everyone's bell curve is a little bit different, so what you should really be looking for is that back and forth engagement. That's the sign that you should go talk to them. But if they're just not a texter and talking to them feels like you're really pulling conversation out of them, how do you get them to open up? If that's the case, then it might be one of these 3 reasons. 1, the conversations are just kind of boring. Try to liven them up by sending pictures to each other, asking questions, and sharing stories. 2, they're not really that into you, and by not responding, they just don't want to lead you on. Or 3, they're just not a texter. I know it seems weird in this day and age, but there are some people that are just not about that phone life. And if you do pass that point on the bell curve for when you should go from texting to talking in person, go talk to them in person anyway. The reason I say that is because no amount of texting is going to fix the boredom that's been created. You have to talk to them in person to help repair that situation. All in all, the situation could be much easier if you just focus on building rapport. But let's be real here. Sometimes you just feel nervous, and talking to them in person just doesn't seem like a reality. Just because you know what you should do doesn't mean you can actually go out and do it. But I can assure you that your situation is not an impossible one. And even though you may not get the results that you want, there's a solution there for you. If you have the courage to approach them in person first, go for it. And if you have the confidence in your ability to carry a conversation, go for that too. Everything is small steps, so take that step and approach them in person when you feel ready. Just be mindful of where you stand on that bell curve, because that way you'll have a much better understanding of how you should text your crush, how you should talk to them in person, and how you can build something that you'll both be happy with. As always, guys, love and peace.